What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. RPScapedTanks. Today we are actually going to look at me destroy this tank right here. I don't know if you can see that. By destroy I don't mean completely destroy. It's overgrown. The plants that are in there have grown beautifully, but half of them have literally grown completely bare. They don't have any leaves on them. They're just the stems because the light can't penetrate down past it. It has grown so dense. Oh wait, before I do this, I need coffee. So the tank is a 20-gallon long. We have a Chihiro's WRGB2 on there, so it has the built-in controller, and it has the 3-in-1 LEDs that come from the Vivid 2 as well, or the Vivid, one of those. We have a Monte Carlo carpet. We have Tropical Soil, AR Mini in the front, and a mixture of Rotala Green, Rotala Rotundifolia, Rotala Hatra, and I think that's it. So I did have more plants in here when I initially planted this, and I did have the ONF flat one on there, the one that is on the beta tank, but the dimensions for 20-gallon long, it is 30 inches long, so it is really hard to find a light that actually fits, especially because it's a rimmed tank. But that's why I put the WRGB2 on there, because it's adjustable and it sits well enough. And it grows plants beautifully. Oh my goodness, it grows amazing. The main focal point for this tank is just guppies. I have 15 Amano shrimp in there, 3 yellow fire shrimp, I believe, 5 red cherry shrimp, and 4 auto cichlids. I love the shrimp, I love the autos. I barely see the shrimp though, and the autos have more than enough to eat on, to munch on. So I've had actually a couple of issues with this tank going on, maybe about a month or two with hair algae. Now I know hair algae can be a contributing factor of, too much CO2, too much light, not enough fertilizers or too much fertilizer. So it's kind of one of those things where I had to play with it a little bit. So what I did was, to start this off, was I did a 3-day blackout on the tank. And in doing so, I tried to get rid of as much algae as possible when I first started out. The plants grew beautifully. All the plants stretched all the way up, and I actually even had some immersed growth. But I've been having trouble having these plants grow straight in this tank. Now, it's because the tank is so short and the dimensions are so weird that it's a low boy technically. It's almost just like a low boy, but it's a little taller, so the light can't be as strong as you normally would have it, especially because it's not being hung above the aquarium, it's just sitting on top of it. So we have maybe 12 inches worth of space to travel for that light. So I've actually kept this light now at about 40%, and I mean, it's doing okay so far, so we'll see how that goes. We have about, I want to say maybe 80 guppy fry in here right now, and that's just because, oh my goodness, we had 3 males and then like 10 females, and they went crazy. So we actually separated the males now, so they're in a different. I put the red roof floaters in there because, one, I thought they were aesthetically gorgeous. What I didn't think about was, or I didn't know, was that the filter flow, it's a Fluval 206, the filter flow would actually be too strong, and it pushes them all around. It pushes them underneath the water surface, and if you have red fruit floaters, you should know that you shouldn't get the tops of the plant wet. It will actually kill the plant, because that's where all the gas exchange occurs. Now for nutrient uptake, it will actually, use the roots, and it'll pull nitrates right out of the water column, which is fantastic. So this tank, every single time I've tested this tank for water parameter wise, it is literally red. 0 across the board. I think there was one time where the nitrates read maybe 5 parts per million, but it was so hard to see with the API test kit because it's 5 parts per million. My pH runs around 6.5, 0 ammonia, 0 nitrates, 0 nitrites. But that's what I believe contributes to, more red plants, is the nitrate limitation. Now we can get into that in a later video if you want, but right now we're focusing on this tank. I love this tank very much, and before I got to the point where I thought I needed to break it down and rescape it, this was honestly my next attempt to save this tank from algae. And algae has been such a pain in this tank, but I do love it. I love this tank a lot. It's kind of like a Dutch style. It's kind of me not knowing what I should or should not be doing. It's just putting the basic factors of a high-tech tank, which are CO2, a strong light, nutrient dense soil, and a proper maintenance demanding plants that you can grow in a low-tech system, or plants that can grow in a high-tech system. You will get a better color rendition out of them. You will get different growth rates, things like that. So for an attempt for a high-tech tank, I'm really happy with this. The plants I pulled out of here, the stems, they were literally just stems. There were no leaves on the bottom, which was really sad, but I started noticing that, and that's what really, aside from the whole algae fiascos, that's what really got me to the point where I was like, okay, I need to do this. I need to chop this down. I need to restart these plants again. So what I did was I basically chopped out half of these plants, the good portion of these plants, and I pulled out the middle section of these plants, of where these plants were, and it was only really the middle section of it, and I replanted the tops. Now I'm going to do that again, but for the left side and the right side I broke it up into 3 sections because I figured it would be easier instead of changing parameters in the tank. Now if you don't know, when you have a planted tank, you basically have significantly more amount of surface area for beneficial bacteria to grow. But that's why I only did 1/3 of the tank as far as plant mass, because I didn't want to change anything too drastically, and I'm going to do it in different parts. So like I said, I cut off the tops, I replanted them, and I'm going to do the same thing for the left side and the right side once they grow in more, because as you're looking at it right now, I chopped everything down. Now, I was really unfortunate though, once I cut everything down and I looked at it, and I really wanted to see what I wanted to plant. I only wanted to replant the most healthy, the thickest stems, the most colorful, and it was really sad the amount of plants I only got out of it. But it just goes to show you that if you're not on top of your maintenance, just have to make sure that all of the plant is beautiful, because it was so sad to see that they weren't usable anymore, some of them, because they were just so bare. I guess it's just a lesson learned. Like I said, it's my first high-tech tank. We have the beta tank, and that one's doing wonderful. Well, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I did enjoy making this video, and I did enjoy basically tearing this tank down. Not necessarily tearing it down, but chopping it down to the bare minimum. But for now, I will see you guys in the next one. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow me on Instagram. I will link everything down below. I will see you in the next one.